Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to Skye and Evan in the morning. And today we're gonna be talking about Get Out, the Jordan Peele debut movie. Um, Evan, what did you think of
Indeed.
Get Out on rewatch after many years?
Yeah. Well, for one, I was surprised at like how familiar I was with it. Like I've rewatched Us like way less because I don't like Us half as much as I like this movie, but I remembered most everything that happens in it. It's not like I barely needed a rewatch. This is an interesting film. I like a lot of the ideas. My thing, and this is consistent with Jordan Peele, is like his approach and his symbolisms. Like he is a very blatant
Yeah.
filmmaker. There's not a lot of subtlety to what it it starts from the very beginning because it's like neighborhood. There's a reference to a hedge maze which I love from The Shining, but it's like white knight. Like the guy who kidnaps them, he has a white knight helmet. That's the mask he has. The first thing you see Chris doing is like he's like naked after the shower and he's putting on white shaving cream on his face, and it's like there's the whole movie is filled with stuff
Yeah.
like that and little
Well,
isms, and
I kind
it's
of
very
I
in your
kind of
face.
forgave this movie for it though, on rewatch, I guess, because I was like, it is his debut film. Like, you kind of like, you know what? It's his debut movie. I can kind of understand the growing
Yeah,
pains of like wanting to be more subtle but not being able to achieve it. Because like this movie is all text. There's zero subtext. It is very, very clear what it's saying. So,
well,
but
honestly, what I was thinking when I was watching it is it almost feels like someone's first attempt at like a mystery. Because you know how in a mystery you're supposed to have like all these clues that you lay
mhm.
out, and you look back, you're like, oh, like there's a bunch of stuff like that. In fact, they do the whole like flashbacks to like, the camera like flash on the phone and like what that does. It's like, oh my God. It's just, he has so many of those in this movie that I'm like, dude, you could have like shown a little more restraint. I don't
Mhm.
know, but
Yeah, I feel
it,
like you could have cut back on the scenes of the white people being weird as well. Like, I thought the movie, because it's not a long movie. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It's 100 minutes.
yeah.
But I was thinking it could have been like 20 minutes shorter.
Well, honestly, that's the part that I cracked up is when he goes upstairs and then everyone just goes
Shut up.
quiet and they're like, ooh, it's like, what are they doing? What is that? Like
I don't know. It was
the
just to be creepy. Jordan Peele does that sometimes, like with the fucking bunnies and
yeah.
us. That the entire point was that they weren't symbolism at all. It's just that they thought they looked creepy.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And honestly, that's as well. Like I wonder how much of this is even me reading too much into this because my favorite symbolism is the deer.
Hmm.
That like because that's a through line in the movie. Like opening scene or like shortly thereafter, like they hit a deer on the road. The deer is still alive. It's probably on its last limb. They say that it died, and like how could it not? But then he has a dream about the deer still being alive later on. That's like right before he gets hypnotized, and then when he's hypnotized, that's what he says: is that his mom died in a hit and run, and he could have done something, but he just stayed home and watched TV. And then the the sunken place, I realized that like it's almost like a TV screen. He's
Yeah.
stuck like in like almost like water, and then you see a flat view rather than
Yeah,
something.
his view
Yeah.
is just like a TV screen, and it makes sense because he's always like scratching his chair and everything as well, because it's the same thing he did when he was a
Yes.
kid. Like a lot of those details are really cool.
Yeah, and then at the end, he hits Georgina with the car, and I realized that he mentions at the beginning that he has a state ID rather than a driver's license. I don't know if it's reading too much into it, but maybe he doesn't want to drive, like, because his mom got in a hit and run or something like that. I'm like, I don't know. Like, a lot of people that live in the city don't have a driver's license either, but he hits her with the car, and then he goes back for her, and that's obviously the idea. It's like his mom. That's why he went back. And then the other thing is he uses a deer to kill the dad, so or like the head of the deer's antlers for
Hmm.
that. So that's the kind of symbolism that I like. And again, it's pretty blatant. Like you can tell what they're doing. Like, or maybe early on, you're like, what was the deal with that deer? But it becomes more apparent as you watch the movie, and I like that through line,
Mm-hmm.
but not all of the symbolism, not all of the ideas are as subtle. There's no other way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one thing I've learned from his three movies is that Jordan Peele was not a very subtle filmmaker. And sometimes it works.
Yeah,
I mean, it's weird because I was rewatching this movie today and I was like, I was trying to give it like a fair shake because I really didn't like it, but like I watched it years ago, so you know, was interested to see how it would fare against like my current standards, how I view movies nowadays. And I was being a lot more charitable to this movie. I was just like, you know what? It's his debut movie, and there are some growing pains here, but I can see the vision. I kind of like it. It is an interesting story. It is a very like obviously unique perspective to have a black filmmaker talking about just like racism in modern day instead of like usually you just have like films that really talk about racism
period piece or
usually are
like,
period
yeah,
pieces. Yeah, I was thinking like Nickel Boys like came out last year, for example, which is a good movie,
yeah.
but again, like period piece.
Well, and obviously, like the whole point of you were saying that all like the rich like psychopaths in this movie. It's one of those things where like the isms they add all the weird, like what is it, bro or something like that. That she mentions her dad. Like
My
she
man.
Rose is like mentioning yeah, my man. That's it. She mentions all of them. Like she's like spouting them off, and he's like, mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm, and it's like so.
Just, so just so.
I yeah,
Yeah, but I
it's
mean, it's weird. I like this movie like upon rewatch, but it could honestly be
I
a
did
lot
too.
better. I think it's like a case like Joker Folie a deux, in the sense where I quite like it, but I can see where a few redrafts could have like really made this movie great.
I feel like it's way better than Fully Do, but I see what you're
Well,
saying.
yeah,
Like
but
that
you
whole
know I
like
like that movie more than you, so
yeah,
yeah.
great movie in there. I would say. What do you think of like the premise? Because I started our Letterboxd review and I think we even mentioned this last time. Like Us, I just can't. The second the tunnels were introduced, I couldn't do it. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is
we'll talk about
so
it whenever we cover that.
fucking yeah, it's so fucking implausible. But this movie kind of has that with how the whole like brain transplant and sunken place and
I mean,
auctioning
all
like
of
all
that
that
feels
is kind of
very chill to like believe
well
with suspension of disbelief. I think it's fine.
I I had trouble with it, especially with the missing person aspect. Like, it's like, how did they avoid a paper trail? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
I
they
mean, that's
just
kind of the point the
they're
movie's
rich
making, though,
enough.
of
Like,
like, they're picking people, especially black people that like people wouldn't miss. It's part of why I think she targeted Chris, because he even says, "I have no one left, only have you," because his parents, well, he never had a dad. His dad
yeah,
left him. He never. His mom died when he was a
but
kid.
but he still had. I mean, Rod comes back for him. That's part of the point. But like, everyone knows someone. Like,
Well,
a
everyone
missing
knows
person. That's the
someone, but
other.
it's like they said, it's like if someone just goes missing, you wouldn't even really know where to look, right? Um,
True,
with
unless you like
Andre,
told them.
yeah,
But
like with
which
Andre, they really couldn't tell where he went. I guess, which is funny, but I guess that way of just like kidnapping Andre was
it
better than the way that they did with Chris, um,
well, again,
because
that's what
then
I
they would have
laugh at.
told
I'm
Rod.
like, yeah, but they still go missing either way if you kidnap them or that. And that's another thing. It's like if he's just choking people out and kidnapping them like on the road, I'm like, why don't they just do that more often? And that was another question that I had. Is it's like after they hypnotize him, is there any reason to just have him like moving around the house freely? Like, couldn't he just like bail out? Like
Well, the point was
what?
that there was like they were like showcasing him to the people that were gonna buy him in the
Yeah,
auction.
exactly. That's the reason, but it seems risky, and like obviously everyone is acting
Well,
so
it
weird,
is
and
risky in a way, but at the same time, she can just like put him in the sunken place, right?
yeah, I suppose so. I don't know. Like I think he mentions three steps. Like Stephen Root's character like says like the first part's the hypnosis, the next part is like mental conditioning, and
Yeah,
then the
he's
operation. But I'm like,
very.
if him moving around and like just being weirded out is mental
No,
conditioning, I
I
don't
think the
know
mental
what.
conditioning
Like,
is just them talking. Like that's just them talking just
yeah,
before his brain gets transplanted. I don't think the mental conditioning is like that. Um,
I don't know.
I don't know. Like I think it makes sense to like showcase him so to the people that are gonna buy him at the auction. I think it makes some
Yeah.
enough sense.
Well, and again with the details, the whole like smoking, they're like smoking's like a dangerous habit, you know.
Yeah,
It's like they don't want to damage the
the
goods,
goods.
as it
Yeah,
were. So
yeah, exactly.
it's like, yeah.
I did that reminded me because I like that detail, but I also reminded me of when they hit the deer and obviously the cop asks him for his license. Um, obviously, you know, fuck, I forgot the character's name. Allison Williams' character,
Rose.
Rose. Yeah, Rose is like, no, see, no, you don't have to show him your ID. This is bullshit. Obviously, you like, it is bullshit because it is just racism. But I think it's kind of interesting that she doesn't want a cop to know that he's going to the
Yeah,
house
I
with
doesn't
him.
want to run. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is interesting. I was thinking like, that's actually pretty smart of her, like using it as like a way of like, no, see, I'm defending my man from racism, but actually she's just like making it easier for them to not have leave like a trail behind them,
Hmm.
which I thought was cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I don't. And again, with the details, I pointed out the deer thing. Another one is the Jesse Owens, like the grandfather like losing to him, and him like almost like stealing his glory. And it's like that's why the running like straight at him, even though it doesn't make too much sense, like the whole abrupt turn. But and you know, as well as that, you that's why the grandparents actually might be my favorite of the like oddities and the weirdness. They do take it to the nth degree, but they act like they act so the wording they use is so like old timey,
Yeah,
like from 50 years ago,
yeah, I love that.
and
Well, it is
obviously like
very
very white and
interesting
upper
the way
class.
they all talk. Is very white, and then he says like, "Oh, I didn't mean to snitch." What?
Yeah, like
Snitch?
rat you
Rat you
out.
out. Oh, what's the word she used?
Tattletale.
Tattletale.
Yeah, it's like
Tattletale. It's great.
yeah. They
It's
must
very
have
funny,
had so much
especially with
fun.
uh Andre. Fuck, I forgot the actor's name. He's great as well. He was in a lot.
Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah,
Yeah, he was in a
it's
lot of
funny.
movies since.
This was one of his earlier roles,
Yeah,
and he's great.
yeah.
And by the way, the actress who played Georgina, it doesn't look like she's been in too much since. And I'm like, she is solid.
Mm,
She get like that scene where she's like, you can tell like a piece of her is like fighting to get out, and she's like crying but has a straight face. It's like, what the hell? She's really really good.
yeah, I really liked her. She's very creepy. Um, but yeah, um, oh shit, yeah, he was in Death Note. I completely,
Yeah.
he was L. Oh my god, I completely forgot. Anyway,
I've
Lakeith
always said he could have
Stanfield.
made a I've always said he could have made a good L, but man, the execution was not good.
Uh, well,
That
yeah,
movie has its own problems.
yeah, that movie's something. But Lakeith Stanfield, I was talking about his character. It's just like the way he talks is very interesting because he talks again in such a white person way. It's just like so weird. It's like, oh, good to see another brother out here, and he was like just turns very creepily, like, oh, he he was just telling me how much more comfortable he is with me being here, dear.
Exactly. And how she is like so like affectionate and again like the age difference, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's I don't know.
I like it.
I I do too. It's funny because I'm like I'm saying all of these things, and it's not a very subtle movie, but it still does have a message to
Yeah.
convey, even if it's very blatant. And I'm glad that the movie is the way that it is. It's just it, the biggest frustration I have with Jordan Peele as a filmmaker is usually his premises and the execution and
Mhm.
how it's done. I think this is one of his better ones. We'll probably get into Nope later, but I am curious why you don't like that movie because I
I need to
that
rewatch it, but I remember that movie being extremely boring for one, and At the point,
Hmm.
felt really stupid, but
I'm kind of with you there. We might get into it, but yeah. What
hard
what
for
do
me
you
to say
think
why.
of the ending? And do you know the
The
alternate
alternate
ending to
ending. I
this
was
movie?
about to mention that actually. I was thinking about the alternate ending the entire time, and I kind of prefer it. I think. I think
Hmm.
it makes the point of the movie a little bit uh better to have him be arrested, have him like
Well,
people, everyone think that he did all this horrible shit. I kind of think
well,
because of the way that they're portraying like the racism and the bias against black people, especially by cops and everything, I think it would have made perfect sense for him to be arrested
yeah.
and it not actually be like a happy ending.
Well, it is the thing that is still captured, and people have talked about this. Like it's the everyone's like just call the cops in horror movies, and it's like that moment is so, like he's choking her out, and like obviously in the alternate ending, he just keeps doing it, and then they take him. But in this ending, you still do get that kind of effect with the sirens, and it's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
this
I mean,
looks
yeah,
bad,
he
and it's like,
raises his arms and it's like, oh fuck. I mean, obviously he thinks he's gonna be arrested. It still makes that, but I think him actually being arrested kind of works well.
the reason that I think I prefer the actual ending is because I like that he doesn't end up killing Rose, that he doesn't just kill her in cold blood, because the rest of them, other than maybe the dad, were self defense. Like he was protecting himself. But with her, like he gets shot by quote unquote Walter, and then after that, like he starts to choke her out. I think it's more in character and more in keeping with him, especially like I said with the whole mom thing. Like I like that, but it is maybe a little too good to be true. They just like drive off into the sunset. My
Mm.
problem with the alternate ending is the how there's so much evidence. Like the house burned down. It's like, dude, there'd be bodies. That guy, like the guy that was is blind would be in there. There'd be the whole lab. Like
I mean,
there's pictures on
his
the
body would have
phone.
been
Like,
burned. Like that
well,
was
it's
the room
you'd
that
be
burned.
impressed what they can pull out of a fire.
Oh
It's
yeah, I mean,
actually impressive.
I don't
But
actually know that to be fair. Yeah.
I I don't know. It's one of those things you're not meant to read too much into
Well,
it. From what
and but
I didn't.
it's not even like the kind of thing where like it's because like obviously yeah there would be an investigation. Maybe they would find out shit, but it's kind of the point that black people aren't given like the same fair shot at a fair trial or something like that, and they're just taken as
eh,
guilty. And I think it would make sense for like the point the movie's making as well, just having earlier like a cop just being racist towards him. Like I think it just makes sense.
And that's well as well as that. That's what he mentions to Rod. I didn't rewatch the alternate ending, but I think he like mentions Georgina and like that being kind of the point is that he went back.
Hmm.
It is the through line for his character, like the guilt he has over his mom's death, and I of everything in this movie, that was what stood out to me the most. Like
Hmm.
I on rewatch, I'm like that was pretty damn well handled. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
I,
You
wait,
know, I'm Jordan
we
Peele may be in a redemption arc in my mind. Who knows? Who knows? We need to watch his other two movies, but who knows? I liked the first
what
one.
yeah, I do too. It's so we talk all the time about like number ratings being bullshit, but like where do you think this would sit for you on a number rating? Because
I
I
think
was way lower.
I think I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 6, and I
Yeah, I was
honestly think
between a
it's a
7 and a
very
6, but I was like, I liked it.
well, I think it's a very fair rating, and I don't know if you remember, but I think it still does have like a 99 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like when this movie came out, like I almost think people were like afraid to criticize it because of like what it was.
Hmm.
And by the way, just on a basic level, like for a debut film from Jordan Peele, like this movie looks great.
Oh yeah. I mean,
This
there's
is a
so much
solid
about
director.
this
Like
movie that is really impressive from a directorial standpoint. I mean, the acting for one, everyone is amazing, and especially the way with a lot of the white people in the movie just switch up near the third act, and you're like, okay, so this is a whole different like character
yeah, like
work these actors are
Rose.
doing. Rose especially, Williams is a really good actress. I really like her, but she's not in a lot of stuff.
That shot, dude, that like brief little scene in the third act where she's got like Fruit Loops and she's got like milk with a
It's
black straw. It's like, what
yeah,
the
drinking milk
fuck?
with the straw and like Fruit Loops was like cracking them in the middle while eating. There's like, what are you doing? It's Fruit Loops. You just kind of swallow them almost. It was so
It's
funny.
fucking unhinged. I love it. Yeah. I like this movie quite a bit, and
Yeah.
it's interesting stuff. I'm wondering like how it will age, how it'll be remembered. I'm like, Jordan Peele's only made 3 movies so far, other than his like Twilight Zone. I don't think he was directly involved in that as much, and he produces a bunch of movies. Like people want like his name attached to their
Oh
projects.
yeah,
So
everyone loves him. Like as much as I'm not a fan of his work, um, the general audience seems to really, really dig his movies. So I think he's gonna keep making stuff forever.
yeah,
But
more
good
power
for
to
him.
him.
I like horror being popular like that. Though I wouldn't call Nope horror, but
Well, I was about to. How did Nope do at the box office? I think it did pretty
I
well,
think it did
right? Like
well.
considering it was in summer.
Yeah, let me check.
What did it make?
Box Office Mojo. Nope. Nope made 171 million worldwide.
And it only had a 68. Wow, I didn't realize that's actually a good budget for a movie like that, considering that all
68
the
million is the
effects that
budget.
go into it. Yeah,
It's pretty
according to
good.
Wikipedia, anyway. Wow,
Pretty good.
that's pretty good
Yeah, it's
indeed.
because people
Yeah.
like will hear it 171 million and think, well, that's not good, but it's, compared to like Marvel or whatever. Um,
And not to mention in a modern context, because that was 2022, or was it
2022,
three?
yeah, too.
Yeah,
So it was still
2022
during
had
COVID
good because it
times.
had, but we had Top Gun Maverick and Avatar. That year had good box office. It's been diminishing returns in the last two though. So God, I hope theaters turn it around. I really do. Well,
Well, well.
anything else to add or
I'm
talk
not
about?
sure.
Any?
It is as we said, it's a fairly blatant film. There's not a lot to dig into in terms of like the subtleties of what scenes mean or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but it is a pretty decent movie, and as a debut, I quite like it. I think we're gonna be a lot harsher on us whenever we cover that because I think we both
Oh
really don't
yeah.
like it.
I
Other than
don't
Lupita,
imagine
Lupita
my
in that
mind.
movie is fucking amazing. But yeah,
Yeah, all the acting in that movie. Winston Duke is he's funny. I I don't know. We'll get there one day.
yeah. But yeah. I guess that was Get Out. Evan, what do you recommend for us this lovely evening?
Ironically enough, the trailer for the movie I'm like that's my recommendation is connected to just came out today. Skye,
28
have
Days
you
Later.
seen? No.
Oh,
I want to bring back the double feature.
oh,
It's been a while since we've done a double feature. Have you seen The Karate Kid?
oh, no, I actually haven't. Okay.
Oh, classic. I do. Star Wars was always on when I was a kid, and so was The Karate Kid. Like that's a franchise I love. Thing is, they made a 2010 remake with Jackie Chan
Yeah,
and Jaden Smith, but and what it is it's one of those remakes where it's basically the exact same story, just like done again. And but now there's a new Karate Kid coming out that's going to have Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, and it's like what. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what the explanation is going to be. I don't know what's going to be about because it's a completely different kid. But I think it'll make an interesting compare contrast of like what both movies do, and the Karate Kid is honestly one of my all-time favorite films. So
fair enough. Yeah, I've always meant to watch it, and everyone talks about Cobra Kai. So,
yeah, my brother has seen it. I a lot of people say like it's actually pretty solid. I
yeah,
I watched season one and it was decent.
yeah.
It started as a YouTube Red series. Actually, it was like it got like Netflix. I don't know when that deal went down, but yeah, it had a humble beginning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my friends say that it has its ups and downs, but it's pretty good overall. And Well, yeah, okay. I've always been interested in watching The Karate Kid because it's like a classic, but I just never got around to watching it. But all right. So both Karate Kids, the original and the one in 2010.
Yes.
Just no,
there,
I guess not watching the sequels then. Isn't there like three sequels or
th-
something?
there's technically four,
Jeez.
two more with Daniel. There's one that's called The Next Karate Kid that oh my god, what's her name? Hilary Swank, I think, plays. It's really goofy, but Mr. Miyagi's still in it, and I don't know. All of them have a little something I like, but I don't think any of them really match the first movie.
Fair enough. All right then. Well, guess that's it then. We're gonna get back to Jordan Peele some other week. Hint, hint at what we're gonna talk about 2 weeks from now. Uh, I uh, I want to finish off our coverage of him before I move on to someone else. Um,
Fair enough.
it's good to break it up with other stuff though, because just doing three Jordan Peels in a row might be uh, too
Yeah.
much. But yeah, folks, thanks for watching. I guess we both recommend Get Out. With some caveats, but
Yeah.
yeah, recommend it.
You watch the discussion, but it is a thumbs up in my
Yeah.
mind. So,
And yeah, we'll catch you next week for The Karate Kid and The Karate Kid.
yes, indeed. Catch you later.
Oh boy.